Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Caitlyn updated complete guide. So we got a pretty interesting build here as you guys can see, but before we get into it, of course don't forget to check out Caitlyn's basic guide for her skills, living order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos that I put up in the cards above. But let's just jump straight into it. So you can see it's a pretty interesting build. You're kind of combining the energized items with the Bloodthirster and even IE. So it's pretty much just all of Caitlyn's best items. And of course we don't have space for more reminders, so we're instead going to go for Terminus. So first up we're going to talk about the boots. So with the boots, you could go for either Berserker's Greaves or you could go for Gluttonous Greaves. It kind of depends on what you really want or what you really prefer. So I tried Berserker's Greaves in this particular match for the early game attack speed. I did find it to be pretty helpful, to be honest, but I do think overall I still prefer the just extra damage and Omnivamp from the Gluttonous Greaves. Overall, you can see even amongst the top players, we have one guy taking Gluttonous Greaves and two people taking Berserker's Greaves, things like that. First item is going to be Storm Razor. Of course, this gives you a very huge early game power spike with that extra damage on your auto attack and as well as the slow. Pretty nice stats overall. And then we go into Bloodthirster as our second item, which is of course going to give you again all of the good stats, the physical vamp, bonus stats when you're high on health, huge amount of attack damage, things like that. And then we go into Magnetic Blaster, which is going to give you the additional attack speed, crit, but of course the additional range, which when you combine it with the Storm Razor passive, the two energized passives are going to work together to give you a long range, like slow plus static shift effect, which is completely amazing. Now the only kind of drawback about this is you're going to put IE to fourth item, which normally you want IE as your second or third item because it's a very strong item, but in this case we're pushing it all the way back to the fourth item. So when you hit your 4 items, you're going to have, of course, get 100% crit, and this is going to make your IE very valuable because it's going to give you the bonus damage every single auto attack. And finally, of course, because we need armor penetration, we're going to go for Terminus, on hit magic damage, AD attack speed, as well as stacking resistances and also stacking penetration. So pretty much it for the items. That's pretty fixed. For the runes, I generally like to take Lethal Tempo because in long drawn out fights, you can stack Lethal Tempo up fully, and of course you already have a decent amount of attack speed in your build, and with Lethal Tempo you're going to attack really quickly, but because of the fact you already have so much attack speed in your build, it's also very viable to go for Press the Attack. Now Press the Attack or Empowerment is going to help you out in the early game, especially to get kills in lane, because you're going to increase the damage you deal to a single target by a lot, and even in the mid to late game, in teamfights you can probably proc this multiple times, and it's still going to be good. But I just feel that overall, I think that Lethal Tempo is more consistent, and I prefer to take Lethal Tempo personally. Brutal, of course, because you auto attack a lot. Giant Slayer is generally the best. Coup de grace against full squishy teams. Here you can choose to go for Alacrity for more attack speed, but you already have quite a bit of attack speed in this build. So honestly, you could also go for, the Omnivamp, but you also have Omnivamp in the build, so really it's kind of just up to your preference which one you prefer. And for the Minor Rune, I take Hex Splash most of the time, simply because having that extra little bit of mobility is very helpful. I've also seen some Caitlyn's taking Nimbus Cloak, and I've also seen that being relatively successful. But I don't normally take Bone Plating on Caitlyn just due to the fact that she's generally quite far out of people's range. Although Bone Plating still provides good value, but not as good as some of the other champions that take it. So for the spells, I like to take Flash together with Ghost whenever I can. The Ghost, of course, just helps you to run away or run towards enemies. Of course, you can also go for Exhaust if there's multiple assassins on the enemy team, but in general, Ghost is going to be your go-to option. But with all that said, let's now move on to talking about our gameplay. Alright, so moving on to the gameplay. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and of course, be sure to address them or at least drop a like. So, of course, Caitlyn is one of the strongest early game ADCs, just because she has the longest base attack range in the game now. Jinx and Tristana do outrange her in the late game, but in the early game, she definitely has the longest range in the entire game, and no one outranges her. And of course, if you get your Magnetic Blaster, obviously the longest range plus extra range is just completely insane, and things like that. So now we're playing against the reworked Misfortune as well as Amumu, and we know that Amumu Misfortune is a very strong combo, because basically the moment Amumu lands a bandage toss, like so, he can just ulti and Misfortune can get a free ulti, and whoever gets hit by it pretty much is gonna die, which is why I kind of hate playing against this combo. And I've played as this combo only like once ever, so it was really fun. I was of course the MF, and I was just having a field day, just just spamming my ulti onto people who couldn't move. But yeah, so here Misfortune is also a very strong early game champion, so we can't play too recklessly against her. However, at the end of the day, we still have a lot higher range than the MF, so we should still be able to get into like positions that allow us to poke her out and just get some damage in on her when she can't damage us. It's the whole name of the game with Caitlyn versus whoever. Here you can see we're landing some Qs, things like that. Now we didn't want to really push too much, because if we push too much and get caught by Amumu, it's not really going to be the best situation in the world for us. And here you can see Nami is taking quite a little bit of damage already, and Amumu is pretty tanky. You can see he's barely taking any damage at all from my Q. And he is kind of zoning us out, so it's really difficult to deal damage to the MF as well, just because Amumu is always a threat. Although I will say he's a lot less of a threat pre-level 5, just because he doesn't have the ulti to lock you down. He still has double bandage toss to lock you down, so that is still pretty scary. And it is still going to possibly lead to your death. So as I said, you definitely can't just play willy-nilly and play too recklessly. We want to still pretty much remain as safe as we can. Things like that. So here, we're trying to keep the wave on our side, to try to force them to come over to our side, and trying to freeze the wave like towards the outside of the lane. However, it is kind of slow pushing, unfortunately. MF does end up getting chunked by a ton. If we were a little bit more aggressive, we could have flashed forward and auto attacked twice, which would probably get the kill onto her, but it is a little bit risky because we would be tanking at least 2 tower shots, and we don't know where Amumu is. Speaking of which, Diana comes in, we flash out the Diana ulti, they heavily commit onto Nami, so I'm just going to commit onto the MF that's already low. Ulti is going to finish her off. This actually gets me a reset on my Ghost, and with the help of the Ghost, I'm actually going to run all the way to mid lane and somehow escape to safety. Now in the mid lane, Yasuo and Morgana are having a duel. I tried to help out a little bit, but I don't end up doing much, and now the Yasuo is 1 HP, so instead the Amumu and the Diana end up chasing the Yasuo instead, which honestly, when I was playing the game, I was having a jolly good laugh at how somehow they were chasing me. They saw a better target and then they started chasing him instead, and now I'm getting away scot-free pretty much. With a kill on the MF as well, which is definitely something very entertaining for me and probably for you guys as well. So now we're back into the lane. We know Amumu's not here because he was busy chasing. So here we're just trying to bully a little bit. Amumu actually makes it back. Here you can see how the combo works. So the Q into ulti combo, here we're just gonna hex flash away. The Q into ulti combo into the MF ulti pretty much just spells Nami's demise, and that's kind of the combo I don't want to get hit by. Huge wave stacking up here. You can see I'm barely doing any damage to Amumu. He only has one plated steel caps, and I'm already just barely doing any damage to him at all. So that's not really good at all. But yeah, he's gonna be a problem for like the entire game because he gets really tanky, and our team is very heavy in terms of physical damage. Only Kennen does magic damage, so Amumu could go for like those items like Randuin's Omen, Frozen Heart, which is gonna hard counter like me and Yasuo. So if he does good itemization, he's gonna be very difficult to kill. So here I'm trying to shove this wave because the objectives have spawned and Volibear has indicated he wanted to go for Dragon. So with this wave shoved in, we can rotate over to the Dragon and help him out with that. We don't know where Amumu is, which is a little bit scary because he could be like over the wall ready to hop in and ulti us together with the MF ulti, which could lead to our deaths and the loss of a Dragon, but doesn't actually end up happening, and he is still kind of missing. So we end up trading Dragon for Herald. Amumu is actually at the Herald area, and it's a 1v1 with me versus the MF. Here, MF has kind of delayed her own build by going for a a Executioner's Calling. I mean, Nami does have decent healing, so that kind of does make sense, but I never like going for Executioner's Calling first item on any ADC because it just delays your first item, you know, by so much, and I just don't really think it's worth it. Now we can see Amumu is coming back here. Of course, we have to be very aware of his bandage toss. Here you can see we dodged it and it hits Nami instead. Nami gets the wave down. We are barely outside the range of the Amumu ulti. We have been blasting him this entire time, but he is not taking any damage here. Flashing out of the Morgana ulti, if not we're gonna get rooted. And here we're trying our best to fight under the tower, but I nearly died to the Morgana puddle. And I try to pop the fruit, but yeah, I'm not quite able to get it without putting myself in danger. Now I just ulti the Morgana to deal a little bit of extra damage, and Yasuo is able to actually finish off the kill, and I end up surviving again. So that's pretty nice. And now with everybody dead, I can actually just go ahead and farm the next minion wave. I mean, if Amumu shows up, you know, I'm just gonna Hex Splash away most likely. Not too scared of him. He's in mid lane, so even less reason to be scared of him. But we are going to go ahead and go back. So here we are going to pick up our Stormrazor. Of course, that's a pretty big power spike in the early game. Of course, we can see MF not yet able to do the same with her first item because she delayed herself with the Executioner's Calling. So here we're going to head over to mid lane. Volibear is coming in off the flank. We're focusing down the Morgana. Unfortunately, Nami auto gets the kill. You can see Amumu barely takes any damage, so no real point focusing him. We're going to focus Aatrox instead, who actually does take damage. Hex Splash forward, but Volibear secures the kill. MF has pushed in the minion wave, but you know, we are just going to take the mid lane wave instead, so overall it's kind of still even. MF now trying to defend the mid wave on her own, pops the ulti to defend the mid wave, which is a pretty good idea. Now Amumu is coming, so we want to be careful here. We're going to get hit by the combo again. Combo goes in onto the Nami and the Yasuo. Of course, the MF no longer has ult because she used it to clear the wave, but it is still enough for them to pick up the kill on not only the Nami but also the Yasuo in the long run. So we've been pretty good at dodging the Diana ultis as well as the Amumu combos so far. I don't think we've actually gotten hit by, I think we got hit by one Amumu combo, but we didn't really take much damage from it, and we haven't gotten hit by Diana ulti yet, so we've been just playing dodgeball this game with those two huge ultis. For the record, we also didn't get hit by a Morgana root yet, but of course Morgana is not really trying to hit us with a root you know, all that much in the first place. So here Volibear goes in onto the MF. However, you can see that we have Amumu here. I'm popping the ghost just for the movement speed. I'm trying to focus down the MF. She's really low, but Amumu CC is just coming in. We nearly finish off Amumu, nearly finish off MF, but both of them survive. Nami tries to commit for the Amumu, but that's a major mistake because Amumu is so tanky and Nami doesn't actually do any damage. So both me and Nami end up dying, which is again pretty unfortunate of a situation overall. But yeah, I'm getting pretty irritated by the Amumu, not just because of his insane combo, but also just because of how tanky he is. Like, is Amumu support hidden OP or what? Like, Yasuo here tries some fancy plays, does hit the Q onto both Morgana and MF are both on 1 HP. Yasuo goes in with the tornado again, puts MF to even more 1 HP than she already was, but doesn't get any of the kills. Both of them are 1 HP. Which is pretty unfortunate. We've cleared up the mid wave and now we're headed back to top. But honestly, we saw the heart still stacking. We should have known Amumu was here. We get hit by another Amumu combo. But again, we don't actually end up taking any meaningful damage. Now here I'm just blasting Amumu, but you can see that he is not taking damage. I'm just pelting him with bullets, but he's not taking any damage. I don't want to chase after him because other champions like Aatrox might be there. So we don't want to take that risk. And we're just going back to farming minions. Now the next dragon is up, so we're headed over to see if we can help our team with the dragon secure. Of course, Caitlyn always have to put the traps around the objective to kind of just stop people. In this case, I don't really know where they're coming from, so I don't really lay down a lot of traps. I just put the trap in that bush, because in general people like to walk into that bush. Speaking of which, Amumu walks straight into that bush, into the trap, finally gets caught out, and Cannon gets the shutdown onto him. Here Diana ulti comes in again. I'm able to flash out of the Diana ulti for the second time this game, and I'm gonna ult the Diana and secure the kill onto her because no one is willing to block for her. Aatrox and MF are also pretty low, launching a blind Q into the bush because they're likely to be there. Aatrox is able to run for the hills, but MF doesn't have the same luck. Aatrox eventually does die. He would have died regardless because Volibear ulti was coming in. But we actually pick up a triple kill and an ace. While we're at it, we're going to deny the enemy jungle farm. And now we also have a huge minion wave to push with, so we're going to get this tower as well. So things definitely taking a turn for the better here for me and my team. And you can see that we're not even really that fed. We're at about 8k gold, but you can see that Kennen and Volley are both at like 9.5k gold, so they are definitely really way more fed than I am, and they're doing really well. But on the flip side, we also have you know, other champions on the enemy team, such as the Diana, who is also really fed and can of course just one-shot me. So I definitely want to be very cautious of that. I don't want to get hit by her ulti or, you know, pretty much anything really. So here my team looks like they're going in for a play here. I'm just following the Yasuo. I'm able to pelt her down. I flash away, oh not that flash away, but dash away from the Morgana, no, from the Diana ultimate. Third time in the match that we've escaped the Diana ultimate. So far 0 for 3 in terms of her trying to ult us. Volibear is now just running them down. He is super duper tanky and he does a pretty good amount of damage. He runs everyone down eventually and is going to get the enemy jungle as well. Yeah, Volibear 9-0-4 at the moment. Definitely kind of carrying our team in this particular game. I'm 5-2-6 on 2 items now. Of course, I am still pretty strong. However, we are in that kind of mid-game power trough kind of area for Caitlyn, where, you know, she always like has a pretty weak, not weak spike, but she doesn't do as well as other champions when she is on like 2 items compared to like a lot of other ADCs where they kind of scale linearly, or rather exponentially because of the crit. But here we spot Morgana, we get a hit shot, and we are able to ulti her with the help of the Caitlyn wave, and she does end up going down. She is now like 2-6, 0 stack Magi's, and here we're just starting off the Baron, while the enemy team is kind of distracted with the Kennen in the mid lane. Now, unfortunately, Kennen leads them straight to us, and we are forced to turn because we have to deal with it with the Kennen. And here we flash away from the Amumu ulti, but we still end up getting caught eventually. We do survive for a lot longer though, so yeah, I mean honestly, what I will say about this match is, even though we're not doing like the most amount of damage, especially against this tanky Amumu, our dodges have been insane. We dodged all 3 Diana ults, we dodged majority of the Amumu ults, we only got hit by like 2 Amumu ults so far, and none of them have really resulted in anything much, like, in a sense that we didn't actually die from it. Volibear 12-0 now, a Ghost Legendary, just runs people down, and now he finally is able to get a reset. So now I am now back alive, ready to rock and roll, trying to get toward my next item, which is of course going to be my blaster. Going to give me the extra range and such. So here I'm trying to go for this wave, but you can see Kennen is trying to fight me for this wave as well, which is pretty annoying. But yeah, thankfully we do a lot more auto attack damage than him, so for the most part we can secure all of the last hits. And now we're going to go to mid wave and quickly try to farm the mid wave before Yasuo makes his way here. Thankfully we are able to quickly get the mid wave. We're just fighting for farm in this game. So Kennen is going pretty deep in, and I see that most of the enemies are on the right side. So I'm laying the traps on the right side to make sure they can't enter from the right. But they could also go over the wall, especially like Amumu. So I'm putting 2 traps over the common place that enemy like to jump over the wall, but they don't actually end up doing that. They actually are going for a Baron trait. Which is, you know, something that you don't see all that often, but it does work out. So we do end up trading Soul for Baron, which is, depending on how you want to see it, it is a okay kind of trade. But it is just Ocean Soul, so it's not really that good. Now here my team is heavy committing and chasing in. I'm just free firing on whoever I can reach, which is actually quite a lot of people. So you can see I'm just DPSing here. I finally get hit by 1 Morgana root. It does quite a decent amount of damage, and I'm tanking Baron minions as well. I'm gonna ulti the Diana once again. I believe I do get her with the ulti. Yep, we do get her with the ulti again. Because again, no one is willing to block for her. Must be pretty infuriating as the Diana that your 2 and 7 Morgana just doesn't want to block the shot for you, and she's pretty much at full health. But yeah, so now we, despite the fact that they get Baron, we do get the soul. Another Morgana root hits, and we are having the minion waves to push. Morgana goes in, but Volibear disables the tower, so we are able to get a pretty good damage onto her, and then we're going to now focus the mid lane tower. We should be able to get both of these inhibs. Of course, top is out of the question, but we are able to get both mid and bot inhibs, and we are going to be able to reset and probably complete the Magnetic Blaster. Okay, so here we grab ourselves the Blaster. We grab ourselves a QSS as well, because the Morgana roots are getting annoying. Amumu ultis could always kill us, so a lot of things to QSS in this match. So QSS definitely a very good pickup for me here. Helping out the volley with the red buff a little bit. We are going to just refresh the red buff that we have. And we're going to see what we can do. So Kennen and Aatrox in a pretty intense fight up there in the top lane. Kennen does eventually get the kill, but Amumu is now showing up to try to trade onto the Kennen. Kennen is now running away with the E. In the meanwhile, a fight is breaking out again right behind the pit, so I'm trying to make my way there. Dinah is assassinating the Nami 1v1, so I can't really walk that way. I'm going to have to walk the long way around. Or rather, I'm just going to blast people over the wall just because I'm Caitlyn and I can. Now just hopping over the wall with the E, I'm now just blasting the Dinah. She almost just one-shots me off of the turn, and I'm going to ulti the MF, pick up the double kill. Now only Amumu is left, and here I'm seeing the win. Like, I don't care about killing the Amumu, I want the win. So I'm pushing in the mid wave. I need my team to keep him busy, but they don't actually keep him busy, so he actually walks all the way back into the base. I can't really kill him. You can see I'm barely doing any damage. I actually tank a tower shot because of the red buff on him. But eventually, I'm able to finish the game right here. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.